Hello my people, finally I'm making this video about the advantages of investing in FGN bonds. Yes, I wanted to make this video right after I uploaded the first two videos on FGN bonds, but the discussions that have been going on this channel has not let me, I keep pushing it to the background, but finally I need to make this video because I need it to be posting to people whenever they ask me certain questions. I can now send instead of, spending back and forth explaining. The number one advantage of FGN bonds is that it's the most secure instrument to invest in. Yes, it's backed by the full faith and promise of the federal government of Nigeria. They promise to pay you your coupon payouts. You know, all those dates that I listed, that they usually, for each FGN bond investment, they list the dates when they will be paying you every quarter. On those days, they promise to pay you the interest due to you on that very date. They will not default. And at the end of the tenure, they will pay you back your capital, the main money you invested. And so far, since Nigerian government started issuing bonds, I've not heard that they defaulted. Look at it on the Debt Management Office website. They promise you that your payments will come as and when due without fail. And at the end of the tenure, your capital will be returned to you safe and sound. And so far, they've been keeping that promise. Zero risk investment. Remember, I'm not an agent of the federal government of Nigeria. I don't know why people seem to start believing that. If you know me very well, you will know my opinion about this present dispensation. So please don't even go there. I'm not their agent. I'm just telling you what has been happening all through the years in Nigeria, please. I'm not the one making you this promise. Anyway, this particular one will come up in the disadvantages, so stay tuned for that. The second advantage of the FGN bond is that it is not capital intensive. As I've shown in my other videos, with as little as 5,000 naira, yeah, urgent 5k, you can invest in this bond. It's not like all the other investments where you need a lot of money to be able to invest. Some of the mutual funds, I discussed mutual funds on this channel, link below. You need a lot of money to invest. Yeah, minimum investment. So yeah, this is something that anybody can go into. Yeah, but remember, it's based on percentage of interest. So the amount of money you put in determines the amount of money you take out. The more money you put in, the more money you take out. But at least anybody can get on the investment ladder with this. The third advantage is that at the point, in fact, before you invest, you can press your calculator. Yeah, you guys have seen the spreadsheets that I used to calculate these things upfront. You can press your calculator and know how much you will earn from this investment. This is one of the few investment instruments that will promise you that will give you this opportunity to know how much you will earn even before you invest. Let's take shares, for example. You cannot do this with shares. When you buy the shares of a company, you don't even know how much they will be paying you in dividends, if they will pay you dividends, because at the end of a financial year, some companies will tell you, oh, we've looked at our books and we did not make enough money to pay you dividends. And really, there's nothing you can do. The shareholders can protest at the annual general meeting and say, pay us our money, pay us our money. But if a company tells you that they didn't make any money, they didn't make any money. No company will pay you out of pocket. The only thing you can do is to vote with your money. Assuming they don't pay you this year, you forgive them. Next year, they don't pay again. You'll be like, no, I'm working out. You sell the shares, take your money and go and put it in a company that will be paying you dividends consistently. Like I always say on this channel, a company must be paying dividends consistently for me to invest in them. So that's the only thing you can do, really. You cannot predict how much you earn. Even with mutual funds, you don't know how much you earn from mutual funds. It goes up, it goes high, sometimes it goes negative and all that. The most they can promise you with mutual funds is that your capital will not be affected. But sometimes they lose money in mutual funds as well. But you see this one, that thing you got in your calculator will remain like that till the end of the tenure. Even if they lower the interest rate, it's not going to affect you if you invested during a high interest month. The fourth advantage is that your earnings from FGN bond is non-taxable. Let's read it on FIRS website. They state it themselves. Public notice, payment of income tax on profit from bonds and short-term government securities. The federal government, by an order dated 2nd January 2012, exempted bonds and short-term government securities from income tax for a period of 10 years. The exemption expired on 1st January 2022, except for bonds issued by the federal government. FGN bond, which is Federal Government of Nigeria bond, as the name says, is a bond issued by the federal government of Nigeria. Hence, it is exempt from income tax. Consequently, the tax-paying public is hereby invited to note that income tax applies to income derived by companies from bonds and short-term securities effective from 2nd January 2022, except for bonds issued by federal government. So yeah, they have stressed it enough. It's here in black and white on the FIRS website. You keep all the money you make from FGN bonds. Yeah, except the tax money that your stockbroker may charge. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, stockbrokers do not charge a lot of money, please. It's not enough to be mentioned. The fifth advantage of investing in FGN bonds is that nowhere in the world, I repeat, nowhere in the world can you get the type of interest rates offered on FGN bonds. Let's look up the interest rates on government bonds in the USA. You can see that it is hovering around 5%. That of the UK is hovering around 4%. The interest rate for FGN bonds for the month of March is 15% for the 2-year tenor, and 15 divided by 5 is 3 times the interest rate offered in the USA, and more than 3 times the rate offered in the UK. If you go with the 3-year tenor, you'll be looking at making approximately 4 times what is offered by the UK government. You can bring your money down and invest in FGN bonds. Yeah, I know. You guys shout inflation, inflation, inflation. Remember our rule. Do not take any money that you invest in Nigeria. Don't try to take it back to the UK. Actually, that should be morally wrong for you to bring money into your country and then decide to take it back to start with. Not to talk of, you will lose money. Make sure the exchange rate when you send the money is the same when you want to repatriate the money. Else, you will lose money. You will lose money. I don't even want to talk about the fact that coming to a third world country to invest and repatriating the profits is morally wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. Invest in where you live and pay taxes there and everything, please. Why are you coming here? Actually, that's why a lot of people shout inflation, inflation, inflation. Yeah, they want inflation and high interest rate. It's not gonna happen. But you agree with me that you will never see this kind of interest rates in that your developed country. If you can, let me know below. There are a few other clickly advantages, but I'm going to stop here. While editing this video, I remembered an advantage that is not so killy. It's worthy of a mention. So the sixth major advantage of FGN bonds is that you can call them up at any time and say, I want my capital back, I'm not doing again, and they will pay you back your money without a penalty. Though I always wonder what happens when one takes out a 3-year bond, which is at a higher interest rate than the 2-year bond, and stops the investment before 2 years have elapsed. That will mean that the person invested for under 2 years at an interest rate of a 3-year bond. That's cheating, right? I don't want to believe that they will let the person go without a penalty in this case. Please, those who know, tell us what happens in this special case. I'm going to preempt you guys and know that you'll be asking, but Flo, are you going to tell us that there are no disadvantages? There are actually a very strong one, and because of that, I'm going to reserve that for another video. Click the like button if you found this video informative, and stay tuned for the disadvantages. It's going to be explosive. I hope you guys are ready.